So I deleted that. I was like, that's brain rot. I need to do something else. So I started watching a lot of Netflix instead. But for 10 months, I lay there and just wanted to die. I did not really care if I woke up the next morning. I was massively depressed. I was taking trazodone to sleep. I was taking antidepressants, Zoloft. I was taking, oh my goodness, there were like 5 different pharmaceuticals that I was taking daily because I'd gotten into the place that I believed I needed them to function. And then I asked God to send a tornado past my window because I love tornadoes. I love nature. Tornadoes, to me, are just God's breath. It's just Him up there in the heavens just going, and why would I be afraid of His breath? He created me. I'm made of His breath. I love His breath. I love God. So I asked Him for a tornado. I was like, I'm just stuck in bed. I don't see anything different outside of my window. Please send me a tornado. And then 2 days later, my son's best friend shot himself in the head and died in my son's SUV while we were all in there. And then I went to the hospital to get my right ankle examined. And the security guards were messing with me, cursing at me, mocking me. It just didn't make any sense. I've got my phone out, started memo recording them. And they called the police, said they wanted me trespassed because I wouldn't leave their hospital while I was just sitting there minding my own business. Shit got insane real fast. I did not understand any of it. And I'm very professional. I can be snarky and funny and sarcastic and all that on my own time, but in a public place, I'm quiet and professional. I had my own office with my addiction clients, addicted to meth and heroin and whatnot. And I'm very professional with others. And so I just didn't know why the police were there trying to trespass me when I had been minding my own business, just recording them mocking me on my phone. But they said I either needed to get up and hobble out of that hospital on my foot that I could not walk on, or I would go to jail. And I tried to explain, sir, I cannot physically walk on my foot. That's why I'm here getting an x-ray. I think it might be broken and not just sprained. And he said, okay, you're going to jail then. Yanked me up. I've got a scar on my right forearm, that big, from the handcuffs that were all the way up here. Yeah, I'm going to sue them. Indiana police, you suck. And I'm getting a lawyer. But from there, they threw me in it's supposed to be isolated. It was a drunk tank, and I haven't even drank anything in months. I like tequila, a few shots here and there. That's about it. But I was stone cold sober, hadn't had anything, and I was in the drunk tank with 12 other women, most of them Hispanic, from crossing the border illegally. They had ICE cases. I speak Spanish and English, so I could communicate with everybody. But it really sucked. And this all happened in the same month. It was all September of 2025, only 4 months ago, and only days after I had asked for a tornado in my life. But I didn't mean that kind of a tornado. I meant a physical one, so I could see some branches flying by like a movie or something, interesting. And then I developed COVID and double pneumonia while I was in jail for 4 days. And then I was taken to the U of L hospital in Louisville. I live in Indiana, 2 minutes across the border. It's Kentuckiana. We border on Indiana and Kentucky. But anyway, they kept me for the next 3 weeks in U of L, 2 different U of L hospitals, and would not let me leave. They wouldn't let me sign AMA, against medical advice. They forced me to stay in a hospital room with a watcher, which was just a nurse on different shifts, 24 hours round the clock. With security outside my door because it was a new strain of COVID and I was a security risk to the population, the public. You can't make this crap up, right? It's just like, how does all this happen in just 1 week, 1 month? So after 3 whole weeks, and I take Suboxone. I'm an addiction counselor, 13 years of college, 4 degrees. However, I was addicted to Poppy Tea for 13 years because I had a migraine condition for 10 whole years. Every migraine lasted 3 days. I didn't want to be jacked up on OxyContins eventually. I was only on Lortabs at the time. But I chose a natural homeopathic pain medication regimen that I could manage rather than somebody in a white coat that could cut me off and throw me into withdrawal overnight. So I discovered poppy pods and poppy seeds tea 16 years ago. You could still buy them off of eBay back then. You can't now. I can publicly... 16 years ago and 5 years ago, I would not have openly discussed this because we've been an underground hush-hush community for over a decade. You just don't tell your business when you want to protect your fellow pain sufferers, chronic pain sufferers. And they cut everybody off overnight, almost, the opioid epidemic, creating one of the largest heroin booms in our nation. So we were an underground poppy pod tea and poppy seed tea community. Nowadays, you can't even find seeds that are unwashed to even make any poppy seed tea for pain. So that's why I can openly discuss it now, because all the seeds are shit, except for my source. And do not message me asking me for my source. I will not give it to you. But I still have one source left of unwashed seeds in the U.S. that are the strongest seeds I've ever used in my life. And if you're not used to PST or poppy seed tea, 1 cup will knock you on your ass. And it's phenomenal stuff, but it's medicine for some of us. And it's not. If you want to get high, go smoke a joint, man. Don't use opiates to get high. Go smoke a effing joint. You know, the pain medication is there for some of us chronic pain sufferers. We need that because we can't get up and walk or function without pain medication. Now, I can, because these days I put myself in rehab 2 years ago. And they prescribed me Suboxone. So I've been taking Suboxone for 2 years. I was taking 16 milligrams daily. That's what they started me on. I went all the way down to 2 milligrams. I'm now prescribed 8 milligrams a day. I won't say what I take every day because I'm not going to let them throw me into withdrawal if they cut me off. I have a little supply. I've got a stash. But I'm prescribed 8 milligrams a day. And I do an online group every week, as long as I make my group, and upload my urine drug screens, my UDSs, and my fentanyl strips, showing that I'm clean. I don't do any drugs, which I don't. I haven't smoked a joint in God knows when, years. I don't get drunk. I don't get high. I am there for other people who do, and I'm their counselor, and I do it for free. And it's all my money. I pay for everything. All the food, hammocks, tents, everything for free homeless addicts. But it's a phenomenal program. And then after I upload my pictures of my UDSs, my clean strips, all of that, then they call in my script of Suboxone every week. And so, yeah. So anyway, back to the story, man. I guess this is turning into a story time, isn't it? Well, whatever. I was held against my will in the hospital for 3 weeks. U of L. 2 different University of Louisville hospitals for 3 weeks. And then when they finally released me, they gave me a lift to go home. I had a house that I was sharing with my son. We were splitting the rent and bills. And unfortunately, when I got out of the lift, I saw all my furniture in my yard in the rain, and my landlord sitting on my porch emptying out the things from my house. All of my dishes from my mother, all of my heirlooms from her mother, my deceased grandmother, all of these precious possessions that I owned were in 4 different dumpsters that he'd broken dishes. Everything was just slime, maggots everywhere, things thrown in the dumpsters, and all of my furniture was out in the rain. Yeah, and I was in good standing. I had been on a lease for 2 years. I was only 2 days late on the rent, even though I couldn't even be at my house for 3 weeks because I was held hostage at a hospital. It was rough. It was a lot for 1 month, the month of September of 2025. My landlord's name is Jim, and he is a hack. That just happens to be his last name, but he's a hack. And I was like, Jim, what are you doing? Why are you throwing all my stuff in the trash and my furniture in the rain? My $3,000 leather recliner? What is happening right now? And he explained that I had 30 minutes to get the rest of my stuff out of my house. You've got 30 minutes to get the rest of your stuff out of my house. And I was like, why? What has happened? Am I being evicted? Like, I'm only 2 days late on the rent, Jim. I've been late before. It's $10 a day. If you're late, I can swing $20. I'm 2 days late. Well, you've been gone